or when you're 17, and between 17 and 24 years old, you can do your full license, category A, 16 years old. Hold on, I might have confused myself. You see, I've made a mistake already. The category A, between 16 and 19 years old. Future Cadge. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Where there's one, there's usually others.
Alright, so clearly I've confused myself, not doing the research before opening my mouth. Here's some footage of me on the doing the Devil's Staircase in Wales, and whilst you have that in the background, I'll explain how the CBTs work. When you first start doing your motorcycle license, the first thing you have to do is a CBT, which is compulsory basic training. It is supposed to be your first step towards getting your full license, and then after doing your CBT, it's recommended you do your theory test afterwards. If you do your CBT and you're between the age of 15 and 16, you will be restricted to a 50cc scooter, and if you are between the ages of 17 and above, you will then do your CBT and you have access to a 125cc until you do any further learning. One thing I have mentioned before is that if you're planning to do your full license after doing your CBT, then it is a must that you do a geared CBT. Just quickly take a look at the footage. There's a sheep blocking the way. Unbelievable, these selfish goons. Anyways, if you are going to do your full license after, it's mandatory that you do a manual CBT, unless you're going to go for an automatic full license. And then, I'll let you get back to past cash and you'll finish off.
I was completely wrong. So if you're 16, you can ride a 50cc, either moped or... I mean, I've seen them ride geared bikes, so geared bikes must be legal on an AM, which is the license.
Here we go again with the footage. This guy is starting to really annoy me. Okay, so the AM license is for under 17s who have passed their full license. Essentially, they will be stuck on a 50cc moped, and they can carry pillion, and also they do not need to use L plates.
So you're not allowed to ride the 125 if you're 16. But 16 is quite young, to be honest. And then 17 to 19, you get your license then. You'll be restricted to 47 brake horsepower.
No, that is actually 15 brake horsepower and a 125cc motorcycle or moped. You will have access to motorways. You will have access to having a pillion on the back of your bike. The test itself is the exact same for all licenses. The only difference between the tests is that you'll be needing to do each one on a different size bike. So the bike that you're going to be riding when you have that license. And now back to the next license up.
Or 35 kilowatts. You can get a bigger bike. So then this bike is over 47 brake horsepower. I don't know what the horsepower is on this bike actually. I don't really care about power, just care about comfort, me. But then you can get a restrictor on the throttle or the ECU. So throttle restrictor, where are ya?
Alright, I've managed to confuse myself again. So I forgot to mention that it is called the A2 license. Once you turn 19, you'll have access to doing the A2 license, which is essentially a full license, but you are just restricted in terms of the power that you can have on the motorcycle. As I mentioned, it is 35 kilowatts or 47 brake horsepower. What I'm looking for now is a restrictor. You can actually restrict the throttle on the bike or the ECU to reduce its power. This is obviously something you would do if you have a bike that's slightly over the power band. So, for example, the Suzuki V-Strom, like I'm looking at, and the MT-07.
Prevents the throttle from being open too much, and that will restrict the horsepower of the bike, and then that would allow you to get something like this. What I had was an NC750 before with a restrictor on it, so you couldn't fully open the throttle. I actually did my first bike test on a big bike that had a restrictor on it, so that was my A2 on a restricted big bike. And then you got the full A, which is what I've got now, which allows you to basically ride any bike once you're 24 or once you've held your A2 license for 2 years. It doesn't matter what age you are, the maximum your size you'll be able to ride on the compulsory basic training is the 125cc. You won't be allowed to ride on the motorway either way, which isn't really a downside because you don't need motorways anyways. Motorways are boring, to be honest. It means that you'll still be able to enjoy a motorcycle and go to anywhere in the UK. You can go everywhere in the UK on a 125. You know, there are many people who have their full license and they prefer to stay on a 125 because of the fuel economy, and you just don't need so much engine power. You know what I mean? If you do want to go on the motorway, you're going to have your full license. Because travelling at high speeds, whatever mistake you make, it's catastrophic consequences at the end of the day. But yeah, that's basically how the motorcycle licensing works. How you get your license, I believe it's always the same way. You have to do mod 1, mod 2. Mod 1 is essentially in a car park, not like this. The surface is really, really, really smooth. Best surface you can get. Usually if you do your tests, you'll be in a really nice car park. Usually a DVLA car park. I don't know if they do it anywhere else. Sorry, I can't stop looking at this bike. Bike is beautiful. Yeah, you'll just be assessed on, can you control the bike? Slow maneuvers, slalom, figure eight, controlled stop, emergency stop, swerve, U-turn, the garage parking one where you stand next to the bike. They say, oh, get off the bike. And imagine you're in a garage and you're pushing your bike out and then pushing it from one car park to the other. So actually I can even demonstrate that now. Let me just do the magic twisty. Oh, this bike is so heavy. There you go. So you stand here and then you have to pretend that you're pushing your bike into active traffic, which in this way it is. So hold your bike up like this, kick in the stand, do your shoulder checks, push the bike out, and then essentially push it all the way around into another set of cones. I usually do that with the cones, but that's basically the first thing you do. They say come in and park your bike up inside a set of cones. You'll come in and then you always park facing in, because then they'll get you to do the push around, and then you'll be facing that way, and then you can start riding when they start the test. But yeah, that's enough about that. And then you have your mod 2, which is riding on road, and they're always on 2 separate days. Alright, so you pass your mod 1, you start doing your mod 2 training, and then you pass your mod 2, and then you have your license. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment. I'm 100% sure I definitely missed stuff out. But generally, when you're getting your motorcycle license in the UK, it's pretty easy. It's not like the most difficult thing in the world. I passed twice. I lost my license, got my license again. Passed twice with only one minor for both. The first time I got my minor because I was really confident. I understood all the rules of the road. I was an absolute general. And I pulled over. They said, "Oh, pull over, do the hill start." Stopped on the hill, foot on the brake, and then he said, "Pull out with control." And then I did my shoulder check. There was nobody on the road, so no need to use an indicator. You do not need to indicate if there's nobody on the road. Something that people don't know. You don't need to indicate when you're on the road. Pull out. Nobody was on the road. But as I pulled out, somebody turned on, and I was like, "Oh, you bastard!" So what I should have done, because I did stop. I did my shoulder checks again, and then I pulled out because the geezer was far down the road, and the guy was like, "All right, cool." So you pulled out, you did stop, you assessed the situation, you did your shoulder checks, and then you pulled out again. But that time you didn't indicate. You should have indicated because of You should have indicated because there was somebody on the road. So there's your minor. I was he was like, "Well done though for knowing that you don't have to indicate and doing that with confidence and so on and so forth." But when the road situation changes, you need to change what you do. So, yeah, cool. But the examiner there was amazing. He was like, "Oh, yeah, you did really good. I'd love to ride with you." He gave me so many compliments, which is the complete opposite of my second test. My second test was miserable. I only got one minor again, but he gave me so many advisories. He basically called me an idiot. Where we're doing our ride, and this is after I'd lost my license. I got my license back again. I went through absolute hell whilst I had no license. So, and also this is like the only money I had, and I spent it all on getting that license. So I had so much stress. I was like, I better pass. And because of my nerves, I never calmed them down. I never managed to take control of my nerves. So I made so many mistakes. I made all the mistakes safely, so no minors there. But the mistakes I made was, he'd say, "Okay, take the next left." I'll fly past it. Take the next right. Fly past it. At the roundabout, take the third exit right. I'll take the first exit left. I got stuck in a lane, but because I got stuck in the lane and I didn't move out of the lane, I stayed in the lane. Follow the lane. Never changed it, follow the lane. Did it safely. It was like, cool. And then in the end, we were right next to the test center. He was like, "Get ready to make a right turn at this big roundabout. And then follow signs to London," which was going that way. I saw London, South End. The South End was underneath the London, so I was like, "That's London." So I went that way. And the guy, he stopped. Imagine these are the 3 lanes of traffic. He stopped right there between these two, blocked these lanes off, and he said, "You get in." I really messed up, man. And then I got to the test center, and he was like, "All right, cool. So you did pass." And my reaction, I sat down, I started crying. I was so stressed, so full of nerves. Right, so full of nerves, and I made so many mistakes. I still passed with only one minor, which was the following direction. He said you need to do better awareness, preparation, all of that. This is all because of nerves. This is what I said before for your CBT. If you want to do anything, learn in a controlled space. Learn when you're outside. Do rides with your friends when you're calm and relaxed, so that you can really take in that information. Because when you're nervous and you're stressed and you've got all of this, nothing will seep in. It will just bounce off your head. But anyways, I still managed to pass. So if I could pass being such a donut, listen. Why are you not on a bike yet? Come on, right? I'm going to start doing some big rides soon. And I want to start inviting people to come on rides with me. Going and seeing the UK, enjoying ourselves, it's what riding is all about. At least for me, that's what it's about. It's not about going fast. It's not about, to be honest, it's not all about safety either, because look at me, look at what I'm wearing, you know what I mean? Look at what I'm wearing. It can't be all about safety if I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Can't all be all about safety. You're on a motorcycle. They can be very dangerous. You're already taking a risk by sitting on one of these things. So it can't all be about safety. At some point, you've got to have fun. So I'm going to show what I do to have fun on the bike, what I see as fun, and I'm sure you will see as well. But yeah, that's another one from me. Mr. Cagolini Panini, always eating the paninis. I'll see you on the next one.